Welcome, everyone. We're going to get a head start because we are beyond excited. I don't have a great vocabulary to come up with a lot of different words, but we've been thinking about this a while, preparing for quite a while, and we've been supported by a lot of you. I think it was like 5 years ago that I read something about how there was going to be a racial justice meeting in the summer. And I expected to come down here to Fellowship Hall and see about 8 people. And there were 32 people, 32 Midvale people in the circle. And they had planned it beautifully. Keep coming in. Don't let anybody think, oh, they've already started and I can't come in November. Just, tackle anybody who shows up. And
come on in, ignore him.
will somebody just watch if we need to put, nobody likes the front row, So we could pull chairs there. But I'm telling you the story of racial justice here at Midvale. And Blake said, oh, some people had talked to him about that. And so he looked at the curriculum that the ELCA had developed, and they made some plans, and the curriculum had 5 sessions, and they put in 6. And at the 6th session, we did this brainstorming. And the ever brainstorm with Midvale people, it was powerful. It was really powerful. And then when we were done brainstorming, then they gave us stickers to say, how important would you rate this? And what would you put stickers on? So then people came up. And they didn't stop there. They said, okay, now you're going to write your name on it. And where are you going to put your name? Where are you going to follow up? Where are you going to be part of making this racial justice happen? And don't we wish we could snap our fingers and say, oh, we're going to be there. We're on the way. And I think we're on the way together. And I think together is the answer. Both Gary and I grew up with mothers who were Sunday school superintendents. My mother used to practice the lessons at home with my older sister, my older brother, and me. I thought you just got to be, prepared that way. It was a small church. It was the United Church of Fayetteville, New York. And it was get ready for this Presbyterian and Baptist, because no congregation was big enough to have a church by themselves. So imagine baptisms in our church. Anyway, it was wonderful, but it was wonderful. And I grew up with a family that just worked on Sunday school curriculum in Fellowship Hall. So when I got here, I thought, this is my home. In more ways than one. And when you show up, because you are people who have encouraged me and modeled for me along the way. Marty heard about these ideas for a while that summer that we sort of did some follow-up groups. It's finally here, Marty. We're lucky. We're lucky. So, one of the scriptures out there is when 2 or 3 are gathered. You know that scripture? What happens is finish? When 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, yep, there I will be also. Well, Emily's here, Brooke is here, Wendy's here, and there's our 3 right there. Jen has been here. We've brought stuff. Okay. We want you to see some things because we want you to see some materials. We want you to see some things in the Madison area for Juneteenth. And then as you listen, I hope you'll be thinking, how could Midvale keep this going? keeping things going, keeping the faith growing is part of the name of the game. As I was teaching, if I got to the end of the month and I had money left in my pocket for whatever, I usually bought books for the classroom. Now I buy stuff for books for here, but also Juneteenth flags. Did you see what Gary Barlow did with the Juneteenth flag? Notice the colors? Red, white, blue. Red, white, and blue. Did that ring any bells for anybody? Yeah, see? And where's our flag now? Now it's in our gathering space. Where might our flag be next year? It might be outside the church. It might be like the solar panels. They make a statement about us. We hope that after you hear from Debbie and Gary and me, that's the 2 or 3 are gathered, that you'll see more and more places for the racial justice that are part of Juneteenth. So we've got some books, and here's the 3 books that we're going to go through quickly, and they're bite size. Okay, I love this title. All different now. This is about when the first Juneteenth caught up with the Emancipation Proclamation. This is something in Texas. And not slamming Texas, but Texas is not the deep south with Georgia and those places. Texas is over there. So it took 2.5 years for the news of the Emancipation Proclamation to really make it to Texas. That's what this is all about. And that change makes it all different. This is about a famous person, Opal Lee. And Gary shows up last night with some new things about Opal Lee when she gets the Presidential Medal of Freedom. This year she got the Presidential Medal of Freedom because President Biden recognized her as a part of those who were going to be part of it. And she was also present when President Biden made Juneteenth the federal holiday. So she's how old? 92, I think. 92. Young. Yeah. Right? Marilyn? Young? Young. There you go. Let's go. And she's still going. And she's about this tall. She has this black escort from the military, I think, who's about this tall. I mean, it's a picture. And Gary's showing this to me. I'm thinking, Gary, there's no more room in this lesson plan. So I hope you keep thinking, next year at Juneteenth, we can do this. So on the tables here, there's things for you to see. There's things for you to see. Here are all the books that I got from the library system. Now, I don't own those. There's stickers on that will tell you. But there's things about cooking. There's things about the Juneteenth holiday. There's things this is a board book. This is a golden book. There's things for really young children. There's this one, The Night Before Freedom. It was the night before. So they took the rhythm of that and they made a Juneteenth story. This is a novel. We want you to know there's so many ways that you can follow this up. And if you like novels, you can do that. If you have young ones, here are ones where it says, blast off for beginning readers. This is a board book where the pages are cardboard. Okay. A lot of these things come from the Verona Library. That's where I was first. I'm at the Verona Library. Here's a history of racial injustice. Does this have Blake's name written on it? I think it does. Blake is so aware of all those kinds of traditions. So it's a calendar. Every month you get a different slant on this. All these are here. We hope you don't dash away at the end. But all right, let's get started here. Thank you. Okay, here's our first book. All Different Now. And I think you'll realize as it goes why we're starting here. A June morning breeze off the port blew the smell of honeysuckle past the fields. This is Juneteenth. Here's the family. Into our room. There's a girl who's one of the narrators. She's sleeping in the bed with her 3 siblings. One bed. Came into room to wake us up. And nobody knew as we ate a little, talked a little, and headed to the fields as the sun was rising. That soon it would be all different. Now, these are not blotches, these are cotton balls in the cotton fields. And we worked and worked and worked some more. Remember the Sally Fields movie where she was picking cotton? Thank you for nothing. And not always keep us going. Okay, that's what the word is. It's not a vanilla ice cream. Did you read it too? Yeah. Cotton candy. We worked some more under the hot Texas sun. Until word spread from the port. So the Gulf of Mexico, Texas is around there, and word came to the port, spread to town, through the countryside, and into the fields. So now they made it. There was a boat on the left, and the cotton fields on the right. The word that a Union general had read from a balcony that we will all, now and forever, free. You hear that word? Probably the most important word. Free. And things would be, say it with me, all different now. I watched as my Aunt Laura sang as she held her. Some people bring out in song. Mr. Jake, who some say was a hungry, cried, I. And a group of grown people bowed their heads and whispered things to each other I could not hear. My mama held my hand softly and looked beyond as another breeze blew over and everything fell to a hush. Now, I argue with people about these books, children's. I call these books family books. There's so much in these kinds of books. Think about this woman. Her siblings might have been sold away from her, or her children might have been sold away from her, to places she's never told about. She couldn't learn to read or write. How would she go looking for them? How would she let them know? How would she put up a sign, make a sign? How would she read and answer? All those kinds of things. And so she could just sort of stand there and think, wow. Mama held her hand, looked beyond, and another breeze blew over and everything fell to a hush. But later, here's what they did. This is the place they never got to go. Slaves never went to the beach. Papa, Mama, the aunts and uncles, and all my cousins had an afternoon picnic by the water. My baby brother crawled around our blanket as we listened to the sound of the waves. And as more people joined us, we ate as a free people, laughed as free people, and told stories as free people. The key word there, did you catch it? Free. Thank you. On into the night. What was before would be no more. As we walked back home, the cool of the night soothed our tired feet. catted quietly past the shadowy fields of cotton. The fields of cotton are still there. And in the morning, the smell of honeysuckle will wake me again, beside my sisters and brother, still the four of them in one bed, for a time that will be for all of us. You know what's coming, all different now. So they're taking off. They have a mule. They're leaving the plantation. Now, just to let you see that these are more than just children's books, here are some the author's background that they like, the illustrator's background that they like. They don't just sort of close their eyes and say, "Oh, I'll make some cotton balls here." No, they really worked on this. Then there's a page on important dates. Juneteenth then, and now is us. And then online sources in key terms. So all of these books have got our copies. I got my copy that comes from our children's collection here. Debbie found her copies in her library. We've got copies here that you can look at, but we want to keep going because this is this first one about all different. Yeah. So we want to move on. This was the first story. This is about the lady who's called the grandmother of Juneteenth. Thank you, sir. And hopefully, and what it means to be free. That's one of the subtitles. Her picture is, her silhouette is the purple on the background, but then her grandson is part of this. So now Debbie and I are going to read together. I'm going to read the guide parts. Debbie's going to read. She gets to be hopefully. She's made for this part. Too tall. So, and this is going to be cumulative. These stories are going to build on each other. It's going to be, it was just me, now it's going to be Debbie and me. Gary's going to chime in, and you being here completes this circle. And we've been so grateful to Emily, and Wendy, and Brooke for all the things that they do for me about that programs that keep us going. Okay, so here we are on hopefully what it means to be free. Okay?
Yeah,
Are we ready for the news?
hang on, sorry. We're a little stuck. Let's see, is it this one? Yeah.
Let me tell you a little bit about this. Just hopefully is a real person. We got some proof. With Joe Biden. You believe Joe Biden is a real person? She's literally this tall. And he's showing
It's not protected. It's not protected in the Zoom call, but
okay, there's the part. Good. Thank you. Okay, keep going.
hang on. Yeah, you can. Sorry, Gary. Or sorry, Eric. Yeah.
Happy Juneteenth, everybody. Come and join the fun. Hopefully waved to her great grandson as he barreled across the
He's good pets, lines of picnic tables, covered with platters of barbecue, baked beans, tomato sauce, raspberry cobbler. He hurried past a leaping choir. Our choir leap, I'm not sure they leap, but anyway, he danced and jig with cowboys playing fiddles, but they did not stop his flow. But he ran to the blooming tree where Opaline held court. Her braided hair was a silver crown. Her eyes were twinkling stars. Okay, now I think we're getting there, right? Gary, I keep going?
Yep, there you go.
All right. Great granddear, buddy, called. Tell us a Juneteenth story.
Openly raised her face to the sun as memories of yesterday filled her vision. When she had been a Texas bud, like the children at her feet, Granddaddy Zach told freedom stories on his wooden porch. As Opal-Lee remembered these words, she lifted her hands and cheered, Juneteenth means freedom. And now it started. Then Opal-Lee began.
Good, we're caught up. I'm on the right side now, with a white band. Once upon a blazing sun, black bodies were blocked and sold like cattle. Black men plowed the fields, were not allowed to own the land. Black women cooked the food, but were not allowed to feast on roast and ribs from the master's table. Black children cleaned the one-room schoolhouse, but were not allowed to learn to read or write. Earning and learning were against the law. Slavery was a thief. What a great expression. Slavery makes for nothing. Slavery was a thief. American slavery dragged on like a plague until January 1st, 1863. That's when President Lincoln wielded courage and raised his southern pen. He signed the Emancipation. Got it, you're with us. With a mighty stroke. And there it says, on the first day of January, the year of our Lord, 1863, all persons held as slaves should be forever free. Don't you wish you could snap your fingers and have it happen that fast? Because it doesn't. Glory, glory, glory. Freedom was dazzling news like a bright starry night. However, Texas was big and many miles away from Mr. Lincoln. White masters defied his words. Black bodies remained in bondage. They plowed, they cooked, they cleaned. Freedom did not ring through Texas in 1863. They literally think historically that they killed some of the messengers, the Yankees who would be coming down to share the news. But it's going to get there. It was totally timed in the Lone Star State for 2 years, 5 months, and 18 more weary days that they were behind. And finally, joy jumped up on dancing feet. Great image. Can you see it? Joy jumped up on dancing feet in the Gulf town of Galveston. The year was 1865. The day was June 19th. And now, June 19th. But that was too many syllables. So they made it one. Juneteenth. Got it? Juneteenth. Okay. The General Gordon Granger, GGG, want to remember his name, marched through Galveston with Union Army troops. The general raised his booming voice and spoke these righteous words. The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the executive of the United States, all slaves are free. So now the word is starting to spread.
Opal-Lee danced in a circle. Freedom, hope, and joy divine. Juneteenth means it's freedom time. Can you imagine excitement?
Now, if you have a little tambourine with a little shaker thing under your chair, just pick it up. See what that is? Singing filled the air. Happy tears rolled down my brain. Black families lead through cotton fields and played tambourines. It was a day of jubilee. Perfect for Texas barbecue, watermelon, sweet potato pie, delicious delights they've been denied during servitude. No wonder they feel like celebrating.
Opal-Lee told the children, remember my words for safekeeping. Remember what I say. Juneteenth is bigger than Texas, singing freedom rising, and freedom is for everyone. Juneteenth is you and me.
As the children clapped and cheered, Buddy tugged her feet. Great granddaddy called. What was Juneteenth like when you were a kid? Ever have grandchildren to ask you those questions?
Vocally unwrapped, another story. Blacks and whites lived separately when I was a child. Jim Crow signs littered Old Fort Worth and every public place.
Whites only, whites only. Black families were banned from the Forest Park Zoo except one day of the year. Wasn't that nice? To allow the black families one day a year to be at the zoo. On Juneteenth, we could picnic, party, and ride the Ferris. I hate that zoo. I loved it too. The birdhouse was my favorite. Buddy groaned and shook his head. The good old days don't sound good. See what you think.
Good and bad work together, like the sun and rain. I spent good days on my granddaddy's porch reading poetry books. His farm was my playground. I ran across the fields and climbed the tallest oaks. Glory, glory, glory. Some memories are chocolate sweet. But some memories cut and bruised. My saddest season started on Juneteenth Day, 1939.
1939. Some of you were alive at that time.
An angry mob with flaming sticks burned my family's brand new house. Their broken minds and evil hearts were so afraid of black progress. The police made no arrest. My family moved away.
So picture that. The family has gotten their resources together and gotten a house. And thinking, oh, we have a house now. We can, and then it's not labeled who set it afire. Sometimes there's those free initial places with K's. But sometimes it's just people in the community who are threatened. And that's just an awful thing.
And yet the embers burn. That fire still lives in me. Micah, as an aside, it happened again in her life. A second home of hers was burned to the ground. So it didn't just happen this once. I learned a big lesson that Juneteenth Day. Freedom is a golden coin. Struggle makes it shine.
Isn't that an interesting statement? Struggle makes it shine. Sometimes when you've had to really work and wait for something, you really appreciate it.
And no matter how long it takes for freedom to stretch across the land, I will keep on teaching. I will keep on reaching. I will keep on walking. I will keep on talking. And she is. She is to this day. I will raise my voice on the prairie and the mountaintop until freedom rings.
So, as you listen to these, think about who seems to embody the American spirit or a real Christian spirit.
The children lifted their hands in praise. Freedom, hope, joy divine. Juneteenth means it's freedom time. Oh, we winked and chuckled. I think now it's time for barbecue, strawberry cake, and red Juneteenth punch.
You know people who love to feed other people? Thank you for nodding. Maybe you're one of those people. Okay. Glory, glory, glory. Buddy cheered, waved his hands when he bounced up to leave. Opal Lee hugged him tightly. So there she is on the side there. Maybe it's coming. Okay. Anyway. Yep. And just like birds in flight, all the children flocked into her arms uniforms openly, study their shining faces. Look at the descriptor colors. Black, brown, bronze, gold, tan, white, freckles.
As the children danced away, she marveled at the bright future. She rested against the blooming tree and whispered into the wind, remember my words for safekeeping. Remember what I say. Freedom is for everyone. Juneteenth is you and me.
So, once again, these books give us next places where we can go. Recipes. I had to tell Debbie, no, Debbie, we're not going to bring food.
But I did. When I read Punch, and then I thought of the flooring, and thought, no, we cannot do that. Ron has helped replace too many of the carpet tiles with stakes. So we left the food out, but I invite you to do that on Juneteenth.
But once again, notice how these books just take us further places. Besides this, there's a timeline of the dates when the first slaves arrived. I used to teach the first Thanksgiving in 1620. In 1619, 20 captured Africans arrived in Jamestown. James is my last name. James. Oh, Jamestown, Virginia. They were the first Africans sold into slavery. You know, and that keeps going. So there's Abraham Lincoln, there's Juneteenth, where that General Gordon Granger, remember the three G's, and then it goes all the way down here to the bottom, where the United States Senate and Congress vote to make Juneteenth a national holiday, not just for some of the states, but for our whole nation. And here she comes. There's Opal Lee now. 92, 97. 97. I think when the book came out. Even better, right?
And I want to point out just the first two lines. I didn't know that much about Opal Lee before these two gentlemen said, are you in on for Juneteenth? And it opened my eyes in many ways. And I've read more and more about her. She fascinates me. But, you know, she's a story keeper and a historian. And I think this is, we just need to remember these next words. She says, if we don't remember what we have been through, our nation is doomed to repeat it. You can't forget those words. You just can't.
Good.
A remarkable lady.
I've got one. You ready?
Yep.
She said, none of us are free until we're all free. We ain't free yet. And there she is. Gary drags this thing out and says, oh, Eric, I got something more about Opal Lee when she was the devil with freedom. Yeah, there's no more room in this list. That was last night about 9 o'clock. I should have known better. But she's still around. She's real. You might think she's a made-up person. She's real. She's alive. She's still doing it. Eric says that he always found it interesting that when his students looked at some of the books that he brought, they say, oh, this is real. These are real people. They're not made-up books, made-up people in books that are stories. They're real people. Remember, my first and second grade, they thought that the pictures were drawn. That meant they didn't exist. They were imagined, and if they were photographs, they were real. And then they thought I was related to John Kennedy because I had Fufi here. Those were the days, okay? We're going to keep going. Now, Mike Manning, you're not known for singing. Is that a true statement, Mike? Not good. Okay. But now we're going to do a song, and we're going to clap with the song. So I'm going to watch you for the clapping part. And when we get there, this is a book that I saw because it talked about standing in the need of prayer. Anybody identify with that? I do. Okay. And they take the classical spiritual And there's Martin Luther King. Here's Ruby Bridges. I thought, if they take this song and they make it civil rights, I can take this song and make it history. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Thank you. Okay, so there's the chorus. We're going to sing the chorus 4 times. It starts, it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. It's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. You're going to be great at this, okay? Then there's going to be a verse, and the chorus again, a verse. In the middle, we're going to start clapping. You're going to get into this. Okay, and it's going to have a lot of rhymes in it. Not my father, not my mother, not my sister, not my brother. They tried to make it really inclusive, but be waiting for it's going to say. It's not just the Catholics or the Baptists, it's us Lutherans. We can't go too fast because that will really miss things. Okay, are we ready for the verses on the screen? They're here. Okay, they're not following. Okay, you're just going to catch it from us because Gary's a tenor. He's really good. When I met Debbie, she was singing in the choir here at Midvale, and I'm an enthusiastic singer. Okay, so here we go. Okay, are we ready? It's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. It's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Not my father, not my mother, but it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Not my sister, not my brother, but it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. The chorus. It's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. It's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Not just the Catholics or the Baptists, it's us Lutherans, Lord, standing in the need of prayer. It's not Bethel or Luther Memorial, it's us Midvale, Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Get ready to clap. It's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. It's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Not Pastor Fanny or Pastor Blanco, but it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. It's not Brenda or Marina, but it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. And go a little slower when we get to the very last line. It's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. It's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. For you all, that was good. Good. So you might want to recruit more choir people. Okay. That's good. So Eric's family, remember he told you about his mother, and she was superintendent. They read poetry for every occasion that comes along. So when he found this book, he thought, oh, I can make this into my poetry that fits Midvale. This will be a book in our library. It's an interesting one because it tells many generations of people who've been standing in need of prayer at that point. Great. Okay. All right. Now, we're ready to take another turn and to do something about what some people call the Negro National Anthem. It's called Lift Every Voice and Sing. What a great image. Lift every voice and sing. Okay. That's a little more challenging. We're going to go over some of the verses, that's for sure. Look at this cover. Is that a sweet cover? Okay. A pictorial tribute to the Negro National Anthem. It's written by a man named James William Johnson, who wrote the lyrics. And then he took it to his brother, whose name is Rosamond. It's not Rosamond, it's R-O-S-S. Rosamond Johnson, who wrote the tune. And it was written to commemorate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. And so see how these things keep sort of
On this one, there's
going back
words,
to,
and then there's a picture
there's
afterwards,
three
and then words
verses, so
again.
each of us is going to read a verse. Debbie, are you? We're ready to do it.
Hang on.
We're ready with whatever verse we got.
Okay. Debbie's gonna read the first verse.
Hey.
I'm gonna go to the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read the middle verse, but there's a chance for me to tell you about it. There's a disturbing photo that starts the second verse. And so I'm going to alert the group to consider if I told you that the photo could be disturbing, you might choose to close your eye or look down in your lap to skip the photo that starts my verse, the second verse. And I'll tell you when the photo is no longer on the screen. This song, Lift Every Voice and Sing, has been sung in the Super Bowl, the World Series, Game 5 last year, at the Macy's 4th of July. Is it part of the legitimacy when you hear about that? It's been sung by Beyonce, by Ray Charles, by Aretha Franklin, by Gladys Knight. So these pictures are sweet, but this song is really in good situation. Lift every voice and sing. Okay?
Okay, and I would encourage you to go on YouTube. I mean, there are so many fabulous people, children, adults, that you just get hung up in listening to all the different people singing this song. So lift every voice and sing, to earth and heaven sing. Ring with the harmonies of liberty.
You're in church. It's that. Okay, keep going. There's a lot, yeah.
Let our I'm still the first year, but let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us.
Yeah, I think this is good. Keep going. We got one more part about this one.
Facing the rising sun of the new day begun. Let us march on, the victory is won.
Okay, there's the whole thing that's crossing it's one of the bigger markers and it's not going towards the way that is Jewish. This is where you might not want to look for a negative view. Okay, oops, no, one more. Oops, never mind.
Nice.
Okay. Stony, the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. The slaves were required to watch these things happen to their fellow slaves who might have tried to run away and bring cause. Yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place which our Father sighed. You can look again. Yes, yep. See, cotton is the thing. We have come over a way that with tears have been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughter. Look at this one. This is from the Freedom Marches. There's two Catholic priests sorted in the front on the left side. There's a lot of African American people trying to walk and carry a flag and try to hope for better times. Okay, keep going. Out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. Harry, I think you're up. Yep, sweet. God of our weary years, God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on this way. Thou who hast by thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Let our feet stray from the place, our God, where we met thee, lest our hearts struck with this blind of the world we forget thee. Interesting picture. Shadows beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land. This is the song that we sing as a part of the book. It was interesting, as Eric was looking for this, this is the only book of this title. This book is the only one in the Madison system, or the Dane County system, of this particular book. Perhaps because of that picture that was in there of the back, it may have been that they said no more. Yep, thank you.
Pastor Blake and Laura selected this hymn for June 16th worship, so you just practice for worship, and it's in our LP. It's in our ELW, and we've sung it consistently over the years, and plus you can see it there too.
Stay tuned. Okay. We want to just mention to you, there are all the books that the South, most of the books that the South Central Library System has. They go from novels to takeoffs on was the night before Christmas. These are for really young children. This is a board book with cardboard pages, a little golden book. This says it's a beginner's flagstone book. But here's the Juneteenth flag. There's cooking. There's all these kinds of things. I especially look for photographs of actual African Americans with beaming smiles on their faces, sort of being there. These books are here. You can look at them. These are some that belong to me. That when I was looking for books, I told you when I had money at the end of a month, I would then buy some books. I bought these books. They need a new home. If you think Carolyn, the library committee would like to have them, but also if any of you know somebody, I'd like to send it to so and so. They're here, and you can look at them there. And then over here is a notebook about Madison things about Juneteenth in other years. I haven't seen the announcement of things this year. But one of the things we hope is that if we say our church has shared some stories with one another about Juneteenth, we would show you what we shared, and maybe you could show us some things about cooking African American foods like chitlins or collard greens, all those kinds of things. This gives us a chance to take the Juneteenth flag to the gathering space perhaps and hang it outdoors next year. The way it's a message to our community, the same way our solar awnings are a message to our priority for good citizenship of the planet. So
before our last book, can I throw in one because of the cooking and I wanted to bring that punch. So this cookbook, and it's really a very interesting cookbook, and it's a James Beard winning chef that actually wrote this, and there's a whole chapter on Juneteenth. But, and I'm not going to get into it. There's such history behind everything. The one thing, if you're going to have a Juneteenth party, you have to have a red drink. And there's many thoughts behind the red drink. Some are to say that it resembles the blood that had been shed over the years. But it's also about the red drinks were always so plentiful in a big house in the plantations. And they would make them, they wouldn't drink them, obviously, but it was big. So there's a lot of symbolism to it. That word comedy made is reading from it. Taking red drinks as communion, a libation to old and new sacrifices, the future and past illuminated through the glass. A sip takes you on a rapturous journey from where we've been to where we're going. So there's a lot behind a red drink for that. So have a red drink and Juneteenth.
So, that's all. This book has already been in the church library. I took mine from, we're going to read together. And it takes a song like the song about the every voice and takes it through some people. And this will be our last book. We have like 8 minutes left. So we have lift every voice and bring inspired shape generations. So notice the genders and the generations. And here we go.
Before you were born, a girl learned a song. Her principal, James Weldon Johnson, and his brother, John Johnson, had written a hymn for a celebration of President Abraham Lincoln's birthday. The girl wanted to make them proud. She hummed the song on her way home from school. She practiced it as she did her chores. On the big day, February 12, 1900, she was a part of a choir 500 strong. And
That straight. Now, this is what we're going to ask you to join in on. This is your part. You're going to say that
straight,
head
high,
heart and mouth
open.
we sing. Okay?
Lift every voice and sing, till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. And she kept on singing as she grew up. She taught it to her students when she became a teacher. She crooned it to her husband as they journeyed from Jacksonville, Florida, to a new life in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. She sang it when she rocked her baby boy to sleep. It was a part of her. She wanted to pass on.
And you know what? Her little boy learned the song. He listened to her hum as she dreamed of being able to teach again in her new home. He heard his daddy sing it when days at the steel mill wore him down. And then one day he stood in the choir loft and gazed at the glowing faces. Back straight, head high, heart and mouth open, he sang. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let us resound loud as the rolling sea. And he kept on singing. He sang when he came back from World War II. There he goes. He's been off serving the country. And what does he come back to? We cater to whites only trade signs. He faced discrimination. He sang it when he joined the NAACP. He sang it with his wife and to his baby daughter as he rocked her to sleep. It was a part of him. He wanted to pass it on.
And you know what? His little girl learned that song. She sang it each morning at school. Then came the day that broke the nation's heart. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was killed. The next morning, she saw her teacher cry. Sounds replaced singing, then whimpers and silence. Who would lead them now? The song whispered an answer.
Back straight, head high, heart and mouth open, she sang.
Sing a song full of the faith that the past has taught us. And she kept on singing. She sang it at protests for equal rights. And when she and her friends were jailed, she sang that song in her heart each time she won or lost a case as a lawyer.
Jesus passed the signs. I got a dream. We shall overcome. Stop racism. Ageless signs.
She sang it to her baby boy as she rocked him to sleep. It was a part of her that she wanted to pass on.
And you know what? Her little boy learned that song. Every family reunion opened with that anthem. He sang because he had to at first. Then something changed. He saw the awe in his grandparents' faces, saw the pride in his mama and pops. Back straight and high, heart and mouth open, he sang. Sang a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. And he kept on singing. He sang it at his college graduation. And when he opened his first business, he sang it at rallies to stand up against racism. He sang it holding his wife's hand at Black History Month. And when he rocked his daughter to sleep, it was a part of him that he wanted to pass on.
And you know what? This little girl learned that song. But on another big day, September 24th, 2016, she stood in a crowd of thousands, along with her mama and daddy. President Obama, the First Lady, and generations of one family rang the freedom bell.
I'm going to ask you to pause a minute. Look at the shortest one in that picture on the right. And the one way on the right margin who doesn't have any gray hair. And the man in the middle was sort of gray, and then the woman with white hair. That's 4 generations. And this is a really important time.
A dream born a century ago to honor Black lives and contributions had finally come true. The National Museum of African American History and Culture was officially open.
Raise your hand if you've ever been to Washington, D.C. Yeah, isn't that really something? We're pretty, but have you been to the National Museum of African? Oh, directly, right? Wow, good. With the Washington Monument piercing the sky, the little girl stared at the bronze building. It's supposed to look like a majestic as a crown. As bells around the nation tolled in triumph, she heard a voice rising too. Clear and strong, it was a song she heard her parents sing. I think this is your last chance to do it. Back straight, head high, heart and mouth open, she sang. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Here's the last page, and then we're going to have to march. You know what? That song is part of you. Sing when you score a victory, sing when tough times get you down, sing and think of all the people who sang before you, who carried on and pushed forward even when everything was against you. Sing and remember, they never stopped believing. Okay? Look at the right, maybe you can read that off the screen. Keep singing, keep pushing, keep passing it on, keep on, keep it on. And then there's a author's note, they're all there. Things are over here. You're welcome to come in. Harry and I went to worship last night, so we've done our. Wow, yeah. Right. This is all good. Thank you, Emily. Thank you. Yeah. And so we're not disappearing. If you have anything you want to look at and comment on, we're going to look for a new home for some of those. Thank you so much for being here, Marty. You kept us going. Thank you. You did. And here we are. Still going.